Hello folks, Hot Rod Rodney 25 coming back to you with kind of a how to or how Rodney does it video. So let's get started. This car that was supposed to be on the May 28th Thursday night live stream project. We ran overtime with the diorama build, and I will show you what I've added on that since the live stream ended on probably this video. But this car, which you're seeing is backwards, it is a Grand Trunk railroad car. We are going to turn this into a priority car. The way I'm going to do that is I'm going to paint one side or just the door, whichever. But I'm going to weather this up, basically. It's going to be a weathered car. So this video will probably be a little long. But, you know, it is what it is, because I don't edit none of my videos. But anyway, let's get started. We'll go ahead and weather this down a little bit. And then we will paint the door. One door is going to be red. The other door will be black. That is the normal colors that that probably been around for a lot of years. Red and black, and certain stuff. Then of course you have like black and white and stuff like that. I don't want a white car, so we're going to paint a door red, and we're going to paint a door black, and then we will weather all this. The road name and the number ain't gonna really matter what it looks like, because I'm not advertising for Grand Trunk Railroad or doing anything with their railroad on my layout. It's just a car. Of course, nowadays in the modern world, you'll get different railroads on, other different railroads tracks. So we'll go ahead and weather it up. We'll, do some patchwork. And this may be, a two-part video. I don't know. It all depends how far I run it up in time. And I'm going to try to set this right here. And this is being done by my phone, guys, plus one of these phone holders that is on an old PlayStation 4 controller that I had that the battery has wore out in. I never got a battery for it yet, so, but it does the purpose down here for this to hold my phone long enough so I can do this. So I'm using it like a tripod, you might say. So let's get started with this, because this video is going to get long. In the diorama build that I did tonight earlier on my live feed about an hour ago, I will try to show that in the end of this video. If not, I will show some of it in part 2 as well, if I don't get it in this video. So let's get started. We'll go ahead and weather this down. Patch the GT and stuff out. Let me get my brushes out of this water. They're in the wrong... Actually, they're probably in the wrong water, but it'll be alright, I think. We'll just get some separate water. Over here for our regular brushes, because after my live stream I have my glue brush and my ballast brush and they're soaking in that water, and that's where these brushes just came out of, but the glue is not hurting these brushes, so because it was setting in one spot. But I will clean all that up later after I do this video. So with that being said, let's go ahead. We will probably be using Hot Rod Red, or, and no, I did not buy that because it has my name on it from Hot Rod Rodney, but that it was more or less probably bought for models or, you know, cars or something. I never opened it, so we might just wait on that. I don't know. Here's some Barn Red that actually is open, so I think I don't know if we'll use Barn Red or if we'll use but we're definitely going to use black on the one door because that's a common color for wires normally. Of course, green or bare was always ground. In this case, we don't have ground on our HO layout, so we're going to work with what we got, and I'm not going to have any other red, so it's definitely going to probably have to be Barn Red. I'm not too sure exactly how red Barn Red's going to be, but that will work. Okay, that will work. The Barn Red will work. And we will take some of our black, just a regular black. You can use jet black or regular black, or you can use really whatever colors that you want. I'm just choosing the red and black because that's, you know, a lot of the colors that I've seen over the years being used for bus lines and everything. So we'll take some black, and we're going to take and this is a priority car, guys. So with DC, DCC, you could probably, you know, if you had an upgraded car from this one's just the cheap one that I ain't worried about. But upgrade your trucks to electrical trucks, knuckle couplers, and all that stuff. And you could probably actually put LEDs over here for your priority because it's DCC and it don't matter which way it's going to go, but as it goes down the track, it will light up your red and black, or not necessarily black because there is no black LED that lights up, but you could get like a green or a red LED, put them in the sides and light them up and have a priority car that way. Or you could go the extra mile and figure out how to get a real small amp voltmeter and put in your car. Now, obviously, that's going to be a little impossible for an N scale, or unless you get, some kind of electronic, digital, um, you know, um, voltmeter or amp meter, um, and mount it in there, and then cut your roof around it, or in the side. Well, in the side of an N scale, that's still going to be impossible. But you know what I mean. If you can figure it out, more than likely it'll be done on your railroad. If you're really desperate to do it that bad. I thought about it, but with DC, you're only going to be able to have one light on. And then what will happen? You would have to put a bridge rectifier. I think that's what they're called, a bridge rectifier in here. And as your truck's making contact, the only way that it would switch the priority would be you would have to switch the priority in order to have the opposite light come on, in the opposite wiring direction. So if that made sense, but because that's how they're doing LEDs in DC locomotives. They're putting bridge rectifiers in there, and it don't matter which direction you go in, the bulb's going to come on. Now, if you know how to, with resistors and other things like bridge rectifiers and different stuff, if you can rig it up and have one light come on one way, the other light come on the other way, or in the opposite direction, then you got a lot more skills than I do. I could probably look it up and do it, or figure out how to do it, but for something cheap like this is just going to be a roll around priority car, and then it's going to get just sidetracked on a shelf or whatever for storage until I need it again. It's not, it could set in the junkyard or something like that, I guess, or on a bandit siding. But it's just going to be a cheap priority car. So as you're rolling it around, you'll know if you're still on the same rail. If this black ends up over on the opposite side of the red, then you know that your priority is going to have insulators, isolators, whatever you want to call it, the little plastic rail joiners and all that work well. You DCC guys, obviously you're going to cut gaps in your rails. And it's all basically the same thing, you just don't have the plastic in there. I've seen some videos in the past that will take and cut the little gap and put a little piece of something in underneath that gap where you don't see it, or it comes up around your rail or your train, and they might glue it in there or just ballast over it, and you never even know it's there. What that does, it keeps your rails from accidentally going, extending or retracting or whatever you want to call it, and go up and just have the slightest contact. If you put something in between it, like a little spacer, piece of styrene, or little piece of whatever, an index card or anything that electricity, or not an index card, but piece of electrical tape or something like that. Put it in between, but leave it way down below the rails. That way your flanges and stuff don't get caught on it and have a derailment. But it'll keep it, no matter if it expands or retracts, it's not going to go up against each other and make contact for that rail. More than likely it won't anyway, because you're going to have one rail, solid and the other rail just notched. But that's just my idea, to put that little piece of electrical tape in there, just to just to give it more more safety. And if it would expand and retract, then you don't have those two rails touching in any way, shape, or form. So, but anyway, there is our black side so far. And over here, I'm going to try not to have red on this side or black on this side. So, not that it's going to matter, because the doors is what I'm going to go by for our priority idea here. So and I will weather the roof, and I will get that glued back on before I weather it, because when I weather, wherever the paint runs, it's going to run on this car. So it's nothing to get excited about. It's not going to get used for anything but the priority purpose. So if I can get some red in the door real quick. I hope this video don't go forever. Like I said before at the beginning of this video, there may be a part 2 for it, and I will film that right after this one. That way both of them can upload and have plenty of time to get uploaded. This ain't going to be perfect. Nothing's ever perfect, but and this is a barnyard, or a barn, barn red. So that's why it's going to look a little red when I show it on the camera. I'm going to try to get some of this paint out of the crease of the door. For some reason, this red paint is not covering the blue up too easy. So if I can get it close, and like I said, it's just a priority car. It's nothing going to be fancy. It's not going to be on the railroad, delivering something that I'm aware of. So something like that. The red is in. Now we will dip our brush in our water, clean it out a little bit. We're done with the red and the black. And now we go into our weathering. For that, we will start with a little burnt sienna, or burnt umber rather, and we'll go into the burnt sienna and brown oxide. if I can get the paint to come out. I think it's going to be stubborn or it might be out. Okay. Maybe we won't use brown oxide. Don't want no more black. I'm sorry guys, here's some caramel. You could probably mix a little bit of that in. And finding, here we go, burnt umber. Little burnt umber, little burnt sienna, a little caramel, which is like a beige, brownish, tannish mix. I don't know if I'll add any yellow, maybe. Holland. Looking. Here's some real brown. We'll put a little of that on our palette. And I'm still looking for, here we go, a territorial beige, which is a little darker than caramel. So, and then we'll get a little bit of granite gray, and we'll put that, add some more of that into our palette. And what I'm using for a palette is paper plate. There's ours. So let's get started on our weathering. We are going to first get rid of some or do a little bit of patchwork. For that, I will probably use burnt sienna, just to make it, well, I don't know. Yeah, I'll go ahead and use the burnt sienna, I guess, to darken that out. Like I say, it ain't going to be perfect. All it is a priority car. It's not going to be any specific thing. Probably what I should have probably did was use black on there first. Maybe I'll do that because this is not covering as well as I thought it would. And I'm hoping that I'm still videoing this, not talking to myself. Okay. But anyway, you get the idea, guys. You know somewhat what I'm trying to talk about here. We're just going to dab some black on this for the patchwork. Black is going to cover better because, like I said before, the doors is the only thing that you're going to go looking at for the priority part of this. So if there's black on both sides, well, so be it. It is what it is. and it's going to get weathered and regardless. So something like that. And I'll probably leave some of the blue on there, or it'll be a different color. Right now, I'm more concerned about getting rid of the lettering, because this ain't going to be for any Pacific Railroad. It's just going to be a priority car. I don't really have a railroad for me as of yet. I can't really decide on a a name or anything like that. So now we're just going to take some caramel color, and we're going to mix it into that black. So it starts lightening it up a little bit. You can still see my lettering. I just uncovered it but it'll be all right. There's what it looks like so far. I just gotta remember I can't get any of this or too much of it on the black or the red doors. I just want it to look weathered and used and old and that kind of stuff. And the whole idea here is to mix all this together so it lightens it up and it looks like it's been weathered and blocked out or patched out and repaired and something like that, if that makes sense. And then I can go back over that with other colors if I want to. I can put a little more burnt umber on there and make it stand out more of a bad rust color, which is probably what I'm going to be doing. I'll go ahead and do that. As for the lettering, I probably should have covered it up and left it dry first, but that's okay. Sometimes you learn from mistakes. Sometimes it still comes out good. So, but right now, I mean, it's starting to change, and come to life. And I just put my fingers in the red paint. Should have just did one side at a time, but that's entirely fine. It'll wash off. But we'll go ahead and try not to stick my finger back in the paint. And we'll go ahead and try to get this side darker for this end. And something like that. That is one side of our priority car. Now I'll add more, maybe a yellow tint or some beige or gray. Matter of fact, let me see if I can add the gray to this. Who? I'm doing a video. Hold on. Sorry about that, guys. I'll be up. We'll put some gray or granite gray in here. I'm sorry about that, guys. I'm not going to edit that out. That was my mom asking me if I was ready to eat. So I forgot that I was going to eat right after the live stream, and I have no idea what this mess is that I just made. Here's what I'm trying to do. Paint the truck up a little bit, weather it. Like I said, it ain't gonna matter what any of it looks like. It's going to be a weathered car that's going to be a priority car. Black on one side, red on the other side, and I will patch all that up where my finger accidentally hit it. But right now I'm going to end this video, and there will be probably a part 2 to it sometime. So be on the lookout for part 2 of the priority car build and weathering technique video. And I just put the wrong color in there. What I want? Some more brown or burnt umber.